Today we're going to put together some pickled peppers, and we're going to make some pepper sauce. I have a few tomatoes here, and we're going to put together what I would call my own version of rotel, canned tomatoes with some spicy peppers in them. And I've been given a sack of Cayennes, and I've been given some of these little, I call them Asian peppers. They're little tiny, you know, one of those is all you want. So I'm going to make some pepper sauce out of them. I'm going to can the Cayennes. I'm going to make some of this, and I'm going to show you how I do it. First thing that you need to do is you need to get your kitchen squared away, and then get you a cold pack canner. I've got water in it. It was hot water when I started. I filled it full of hot water. Now I've got it on the stove. I've got it on high. I need to get that up to just about boiling before I put my jars in it to can. So I'll do that first. Behind it, I don't know if you can see it over there, I've got another large pot of water boiling. That's to put my mason jars in to sterilize them before I can. Before I actually put anything in the canner, I'll have another pot going, and then it will be a mixture of vinegar and water to be our liquid for canning the peppers. So let's get started. I'm going to be using half pints today. So take the lids off, lower the glass gently in there, drop the lids in. That water's just about to boil. Actually, it was kind of boiling, still boiling a little bit. The main thing is you got to get the glasses sterile. If there's any bacteria in there and you don't get rid of it, you just canned it. So we'll do this till we fill that up. We'll let them sit in the boiling water for a while, and then we'll set them aside. We'll use our jar picker-upper. I don't know what the real name for it is. We'll use that to get it out. We'll set them aside on a towel. I like to set hot jars on towels so there's no chance of breaking them. We'll set them all out here, and we'll get our peppers chopped up. Okay, the only advice I'm going to give you here, and it's the most important advice you're going to get. Once you start handling peppers, you don't touch anything but a knife and a pepper. I won't even be monkeying with the camera until I get a chance to wash my hands now that I've started. You can really hurt yourself if you get this in your eyes or in your nose. So, my advice, that's kind of mushy. My advice, once you start the peppers, don't touch anything but the knife and the peppers. As soon as you get done, wash good with soap, scrub it good, take your time, get it all off your hands. Some people even wear rubber gloves, but if you touch your nose with rubber gloves, you're in the same boat. These are cayenne peppers, and once I get a pile of them, I have a bowl here in the sink. I'll rake all the cut pieces in the bowl. And when I get everything cut up, we'll work on the vinegar. But I'm just going for, you know, bite-sized pieces about like that. Reach in there with a fork and get you one and stick it in your beans. Or get you, if you're like me, get you 4 or 5 and put in a bowl of beans. You can take the seeds in the center out. I'm not going to. If you notice this piece I cut up, most of them don't have any seeds in them but the last 3 or 4 sections. So I'm going to leave the seeds in. And that'll be the hotter ones. The ones without seeds will be a little bit milder, but the whole batch will be hotter if you leave the seeds in. And I don't mind hotter, so I'm going to leave the seeds in. Seriously, I'm not joking. Once you start handling peppers, don't handle your phone, don't get you a chew of tobacco, and don't take a leak. I'm serious, don't take a leak. I've never done it, but I know people that have, and from the way they described it, there's no way I'd take a leak until I was completely done, washed my hands. That knife is so dull, I use the back side of it, and it's about as sharp as the front side. There is a faster way to peel tomatoes, but if you're only doing a few, it takes longer. and you heat up some water, get it boiling, and you drop the tomatoes in, leave them in for like 5 or 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then you pick them right back out, and the skin will be cooked away from the meat and you can peel them right off. But I have a lot of jars being sterilized, and I have the canner sitting here, so I'm not going to do that. It's going to take a little longer to peel them this way, and I lose a little tomatoes. But at this point in the summer, I'm about tired of tomatoes anyways. So you can call me wasteful if you want, but we grew them, so it doesn't matter what you think. Now, if you went through the Depression and World War II, then you wouldn't waste anything, I know. I didn't. I was born in '75 and we waste stuff. By the way, if you've never grown Arkansas Travelers, they are a great tomato. They kind of have a pink color to them instead of that deep red. They grow well in Arkansas. I guess that's why they're called Arkansas Travelers. They peel easy. They're just the right size. Okay, time to improvise. I have somewhere a funnel to put over jars, and I think I loaned it to my mother-in-law, or I brought it down there thinking she needed it, and she really didn't. So a red Solo cup. A red Solo cup will just about fit in there, so I'm going to make a funnel out of this. And funnels are important because without them, you get tomato juice and a bunch of sloppy stuff all over the lids. If you don't get them wiped off good, they will... See, that's almost big enough. I bet if I crinkle it, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll cut a slit in it. Bet it fits now. Because you don't want to touch that lid. You don't want to touch the rim. I think I can make that work. Let's see. Looks about right. I've never tried this before. I'm talking about making something like a rotel. Put a lid on there out of the hot water. You put the... You don't have to crank it. You just want it finger tight. Magnet on a stick makes a big difference. I put just some chunks of cayenne and about 1/3 of a teaspoon of salt in each one. You want to put those in the water bath, let it come up to a boil, boil it for 20 minutes. Some say 40. I think if you do 40, it kind of comes out like tomato sauce. I'm not trying to keep this for like, I'm not a doomsday prepper. I'm not trying to keep this for 20 years. I'll have this eaten as soon as, I'll probably have it eaten by Christmas. So I'm going to do 20 minutes of boiling in a water bath. Okay, that's 2 cups of vinegar and 1/2 cup of water. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt in there. This is a 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm calling that half. And I'm calling that the other half. And this is coarse sea salt or pickling salt. You don't want to use iodine salt in canning. I don't know why. It's just what the experts say. As soon as that comes to a boil, we'll begin pouring it in each of the jars, filling it up just to the top of the peppers, leaving about a 1/2 inch of headspace. Right now, those air bubbles you're seeing is just air coming out of the jars. But when the water starts boiling, we'll give it about 10 minutes, and then we'll set them out. Well, they've moved all around. As soon as I pull it out, the dogs go psycho. We cook these for 10 minutes, and the reason I don't do peppers longer, what the boiling water does is it kind of kills any bacteria or anything in the peppers that would cause the peppers to spoil. When you cook things a long time in boiling water, they turn to mush. And they just kind of become yuck tasting. Well, they taste the same, but they don't, the texture's all wrong. And if there's one thing I hate, it's a soggy pickle or a soggy pepper. So hopefully by cooking them 10 minutes, those cayennes are not real thick peppers, but hopefully 10 minutes didn't ruin them. There's the fruits of our labors. We have, I would say, 2.5 pints. That last pint just didn't have as much in it as I thought, but that is cayenne pepper and tomatoes out of the garden, and these 3, it's about 2.5 pints, have 5 pints of cayenne peppers, and we have on the end over here 2 pints of what I call pepper sauce. That's the little tiny Asian hot peppers. You know, you don't want to eat one. And the rest of it's vinegar water. So that's kind of something like you'd pour over turnip greens or collard greens or put in a pot of beans. Just a good pepper sauce. So we'll let them cool down. They're starting to pop already. And anything that doesn't pop doesn't seal and you have to recant it. More than likely I'll just pour it out. Anyways, thanks for watching.